Okay, so I'm actually standing at the property of where the church is. Now here's what's kind of cool. Actually, this is the second piece of property. They actually had another piece of property, but something happened that fell through. This one opened up, and actually talking to the pastor and stuff, it's kind of neat. This location here, not only they get a bigger piece of land, but this is actually a more impoverished community. Now, when you think about the buildings, it's kind of neat because they're all laid out pretty similar in how Compassion does it, and it's so efficient, and it really allows them to serve a couple hundred kids. And so, like right behind me, this is the auditorium where they do church. And not only where they do church, but they do a bunch of trainings and stuff in here for their staff that then they send out into the community and work with the different families and stuff of the kids that are sponsored. Actually, there's a training going on there right now. And we actually just had church there a little bit ago, which was unbelievable. Now, if you go over here, this is a second building. And actually, this courtyard is where all the kids play and stuff when they have recess for school. And we got to see, there was a couple hundred kids just playing around with soccer balls and different things like this. But over here are classrooms. And so this whole side of the building right here is just filled with kids with classes. And it's really neat when you just see the kids in there learning and just engaging, fully staffed by the church and through Compassion. And so they get a really good education here. And so you got classrooms, and then over here you have some storage for food. And then back over here, this is where they prepare a lot of the food. And so you go in here and they have a bunch of food that they can prepare back there for the kids, and so they can serve them lunch and different things like that. And also as they gather supplies that they send out in community, they'll store them there. And then there's some more storage over here. Now, just a couple things about this community is it's kind of fascinating. Most of Compassion church plants, they actually, most of the people that come are right by the church, meaning they're about a 5-minute walk. But this one's unique because of the poverty. They actually expanded that circle, and it's about a 15 to 20-minute walk just so they can connect with more kids just due to the poverty level here. How many kids currently attend the school?
¿Cuántos niños vienen aquí a este CS?
146 niños.
146 too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, how hard was it for you to get to 146 kids, or did it grow quickly?
¿Qué tan difícil fue para ustedes llegar a tener 146 niños, o fue que creció rápido?
No, sí fue difícil porque nuestra hermana con mi esposa y el equipo anduvieron en lugares bien retirados.
It was difficult because his wife and Sister Janet went to really far places from here.
Porque recuerde que esto es de ir al más necesitado, no al que esté más cerca.
Because we have to keep in mind that this is about getting the people with the most need, not the ones that are closer.
So my prayer has been, and my hope is that we would sponsor 146 kids, and those 146 kids, they're going to be a part of this church right here. And then we have the opportunity to sponsor another 150, and those 150 are going to be a part of a partner church of this one. And so we just have an opportunity to, I think, sponsor 300 kids. You know, when I used to hear the idea of sponsoring kids, I'll honestly be transparent with you, I used to be pretty skeptical of the whole thing. I would get these pictures of kids, and I'd look at the kids and I go, is that real? Is that just some stock photo, you know? And then they'd say, hey, you got a monthly sponsorship of this, and it goes towards this. And I'd be like, really? And how do you know? And you're supposed to write letters, and you write letters, and I was like, does someone just like on the other side take it and go, oh yeah, that's great, crumple it up and kind of throw it away? And so I was highly skeptical. You know, it wasn't until I went on the Ecuadorian trip, and has got to see just the full impact of compassion in what they do. And it really does matter. It really does change a kid's life. And I remember when I left that trip, I started to do a bunch of research on compassion, and I'm telling you what, they are a true world-class organization. And what I love about them, and this is one of the reasons why we're partnering with them, is that they do everything through the local church. And so the idea is for $43 a month, our gift will actually break the cycle of poverty in another kid's life. And so it'll go towards things like food and medical care, education, which most of them don't get the opportunity to do. And all of it, and this is the cool thing, all of it is done through the local church. Now here's the letter writing thing that I was just kind of blown away by this. When we were in Ecuador again, we got to go into some sponsor homes. And we got to meet some of the sponsor kids, and it was cool. We'd be like by their bedside, and then you would get like right up by their pillow, and they would have picture of their sponsor families, and then they would have this pack of letters, and we'd be like, hey, what is that? And they'd be like, oh, we save all the letters from our family, and they would call them our family. So it wasn't just like this financial thing. I mean, they really saw it as family. And they're like, I pray for my family every week and all that stuff. I look forward to getting the letters. And I was just like, yeah, this is truly a relational thing. Now, Donna and I, we are in on this thing. We wouldn't ask you to do something that we wouldn't do, and we're sponsoring 2 kids. And what was really cool is a couple weeks ago, I got to go and meet our sponsor kids, but not just meet them, because we weren't sponsoring that, but actually tell them that we were sponsoring them. How many people does it take to pump up a football?
Presento a Giovanni. Están muy contentos de verte y han venido a conocerte.
Giovanni, from Mark and Donna, this is for you. This is for you.
Este es un regalo para
A
vos.
gift from us to you. And and we are honored that we get to sponsor you.
Es un honor para nosotros poder patrocinarte. Amén. Chócala.
That was really good. Oh, of course. We love you. We love you.
Motorcycle.
Love you. We believe
Nosotros creemos
that God has led us to you.
que Dios nos ha permitido patrocinar
And we can't wait to watch you grow up
y deseamos verte crecer
into a wonderful woman of God.
y que te conviertas en una mujer hermosa de Dios.
And we love you.
Te amamos, te traemos ese regalo.
It's yours.
Esta es la otra. Dele un abrazo.
Oh, of
Gracias.
course, sweetie. Of
Dice,
course, sweetie. We
gracias.
love you.
Dana se llama. Venga. Dígale que gracias a él y gracias a su esposa.
Thank
Get
you,
it,
and thank you to your
John, we get a
wife.
picture.
Por estar
Oh, of
conmigo.
course.
And thank you for being with me.
Oh, we love you.
Bendiciones.
Already.
Ya te
Hey,
amamos.
John, take a picture. Yeah, look at the
Tomamos
look
una
at
foto.
and look at this.
Give me 5. Dele.
You give me
dele
5?
la mano.
You give me 5?
Chócala con él.
No, you give me 5? When we talk about sponsoring kids, I know this is true of me. It's so easy to go, okay, so we're going to sponsor kids that are living in some faraway country, and okay, and so I do this every month and all that stuff. And there's really no personal connection because we'll never get a chance to personally connect with the kids. But here's what I want you to think about. The church that we are partnering with, this is a church that we planted. And so those kids aren't just kids because that's our church. These are our kids. You know, just as you got to see me meet our sponsored kids, what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to organize trips in the future where you're going to get the opportunity to meet your sponsored kids. And not only that, but you get to spend time in the country at the church and be a part of what's going on there, and also hopefully be a part of future churches. As I mentioned earlier, we get the opportunity to do something that Jesus takes very personally. I hope you're like me and is someone who takes the Bible very seriously. And when I say seriously, I just mean someone who bends their life towards what the Bible says. Because if we do, we go back to what we just heard Jesus talk about when he said this. He said, someday we're all going to die and we're going to stand before God. And one of the questions that God's going to ask is, how did you take care of me? Now, fortunately for all of you who are part of what God's doing at the Ridge, and you give and you tithe and you're just generous to what goes on, there's going to be people who are going to say, hey, I'm here because of them. I'm here. And we may not know who they are, but you know, they're going to be there. One of the things I think about is I hope that there's people up there who will vouch for me, and they'll go and they'll kind of raise their hand and go, hey Jesus, hey, you know, hey, he fed me, he clothed me. I can vouch for him. We get the opportunity for $43 a month to take something that Jesus takes very seriously, and that is provide for a child in need. And what that need does is, as I said earlier, it breaks the cycle of poverty in their life. And just like our kids, it gives them a chance to dream and to hope. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, Mark, that's great, but this feels like kind of an impulse buy. It feels like kind of an impulse decision. And you know what? I get that. But I want you to think about this. We make impulse decisions all the time. I mean, we go to stores, we go online, and we impulse buy. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with that. But let me ask you, when was the last time you impulse purchased for something that could actually change a life? What would you like to say to your church family up in the United States?
El mensaje que yo les daría, sinceramente, es decirles gracias. Que Dios provea fuerzas, que Dios provea salud, trabajo para las familias, sus hijos. Porque desde muy largo han acogido nuestra iglesia para poder despertar y resucitar sueños en nuestra comunidad, en nuestro país. Nuestra oración como pastores, como iglesia, como proyecto, siempre es bendecir a nuestros hermanos que nos están acompañando para que esto avance. Que Dios bendiga la obra de sus manos, porque cada sacrificio en el trabajo que hacen hace que también se despoje de una aportación económica. Y poder avanzar en esta obra.
I know there's a voice in your ear telling you to disqualify everything I just said. And you know how I know that? Because it's the same voice that's in my ear. That we have a spiritual enemy that's telling us not to get on God's agenda, to not be generous, to hear stuff like this and to just shut down and ignore it and to just affirm what we're already doing in our lives. Can I just challenge you to do this? Ignore the voice and just do what God is telling you to do. You know, we can't change the world, but we can change a world by changing a life.